Alrighty, so getting started here, we can just delete everything and we can bring in our reference images, which you can access either from my Discord server or from my website, both of which you can find down in the description. So I'm just going to go, sorry, as I brought that in, I just pressed Alt and R to reset the rotation, R, X, and 90 to rotate 90 degrees about the X axis, and then I'm just going to go G, Y, and 7. 7's arbitrary, it just gives us some working space in the middle here. And then I'm just going to bring this up along the Z-axis just so that the bottom of the lid here isn't sitting in or clipping with the X-axis, just so that the model's not intersecting with the grid. And then we can go ahead, bring in our top-down view, Alt-R, G, Z, and -7. This is more reference than we need, in all honesty, but just to help with the namesake of consistency. So I'm going to go Shift-A, I'm going to bring in a circle. And just in the circle properties here, I'm just going to change the vertices from 32 to 36. We can collapse that and bring this up and scale it out. And you'll notice I'm not trying to match it up with the bottom here because that's a result of like the perspective distortion from the camera. So I'm trying to match it up where it's more like even and straight along the base. It still works. It's just you've got to change where your reference points are when you're working with circular or cylindrical reference images. And so we can just extrude and bring this up to the first major crease. I'm just going to select everything, flip the normals, because as you can see, they were all red. And if yours aren't red, sorry, just to clarify, just in your overlays, you can enable the face orientation here, just to show which way the faces are pointing. So we can flip those, and then E to extrude, bring these up. Just to the next point, I'm going to scale these in, and I'm looking over on the left-hand side of the reference at the moment. And you can sort of see this creased line here. I'm just roughly trying to get the outermost vertex to align with that. And that's pretty good. It's not exact, but just a reference, so I don't need to match it perfectly. And then I'm just going to delete the left side and as well as the top half here. So I'm just going to cut away, 3/4 of the faces, sorry. And then we can check in a mirror modifier along the X and Y axes and enable clipping. Clipping is rather important, and you'll see why in just a moment. So for the cap here, you'll notice it's a straight line that runs out and along the design, but our edges here, they sort of skew out. So what we want to do is just using our knife tool with K, I'm just going to click on this vertex up the top here, and then C to make a straight cut, and then Z to cut through the mesh, and then just bring the knife out well beyond this boundary here. So just click there, press Enter to cut that in. And then what we can do, we can select these two top faces. We can go E to extrude, S, Z, and 0 to flatten it out. And I'm just going to bring this up, and I'm just trying to eyeball getting this top face to align with this topmost edge here. I can tell that that's not properly in line, but it's all right because we'll do some adjustments in just a moment. And then very similarly, we'll just go Control-R to cut in a loop here, S, Z, 0 to flatten this out. And in the same vein, I'm just going to bring this up and roughly trying to align this with this bottom edge here, which I can also see is wrong. But once again, we can fix that in just a moment. So another thing, while we've got this, I want to flatten out these group of faces. I don't want them to be curved like they are currently. So we can select this vertex on the inside here, Shift S and cursor to selected. And then I'm just going to use my circle select tool, select these 4 faces, and then I'm going to change the transform pivot point to the 3D cursor, S, X, and 0. And now we've flattened out all those faces. And I'm just going to move our 3D cursor out of the way, so I'm just going to go Shift and C, and then you can press A to select everything, and then you can press the period key on your numpad, and that will just reset our zoom back to the object. And I'm just going to change our transform pivot point back to the bounding box. I'm going to grab these 2 faces here, E to extrude, and drag in along the X-axis. And this is why clipping is important, because it's terminated at the center point. If you don't have that enabled, you can infinitely drag it along. So we want clipping so that it merges at the middle. But we do have some non-manifold faces or some interior faces here, so we just need to go ahead and delete those. And so now that we've got these in place, we can kind of adjust these edges to just make them align a little bit better with our reference image. So just drag both of these up a little. And then we're going to need to introduce a bevel on the inside and outside here. But at the moment, our current topology setup isn't really conducive to allow that. So what we can do is we can select this vertex and then this vertex and press J, or you could also use the knife tool to cut an edge between those points, either or. And then I'm just going to alt select both of these surrounding edges, Control X to dissolve them. And then I'm just going to select these interior verts here, Control and B to bevel. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segments. So just roughly line that up with the inside. And I'm just going to select this vertex that's sitting in the middle here, Control X to dissolve that because we don't need that anymore. And then just select the outermost vertices or edge, Control B, and just same count. We want 5 segments, and just roughly line that up. And we did those separately because these bevel widths are different, and trying to do them together, you won't be able to get the different bevel widths, at least to my understanding. We can delete this big ngon face here. And then if we just select these bottom 3 most edges, we can press F to fill in a face, and then just press F a few more times to fill in this the whole way. At this edge here, we don't actually need this, so just Alt select that. We can go Control X to dissolve it. But now we've got some uneven face structure here, and we're not going to get a nice rounded and circular looking object anymore. So I'm just going to Alt select these 2 loops. So Alt and then, Alt and then Alt Shift select. And then I'm just going to Shift select this edge, hold down Control and select this one here. So we select the shortest path. And then I'm just going to use our loop tools and space operation. So we probably have introduced a little bit of distortion here, but in the grand scheme of things, this will work out just fine with that one space operation. We just didn't want too much skewing over on that side. And so if we turn our attention to the middle here, we can fill in this massive hole in the center. So I'm just going to select this middlemost vertex, E to extrude, bring it in along the X-axis, and then once again, holding down Control, I'm just going to select this vertex here. So you can see we've selected the shortest path. I'll just press F to fill in a face. And then what we can do while we've got this selected is we can just press I to do an inset. But you'll notice at the moment, if we do the inset, it also insets these interior edges, which we don't want. So what we can do instead, I'm just going to undo that. If we press I to inset and press B, we'll do an inset to the bounds, or to the boundaries, which pretty much finds any of the non-manifold edges, and then it terminates automatically at those edges. So we can just do something like that. And this is the result we'd expect to get if we weren't mirroring the object, right? You'd expect an inset like this. So that's just replicating that effect effectively. And so then what we need to do is we need to bevel the inside edge here, because there's a larger bevel on this segment of the design, and then it sort of gets a lot harder and thinner down at the bottom here. You can kind of see it on the reference image here, but it's kind of a little bit difficult to see. So what we can do is we can select this edge and then down to this edge here. We don't want to select this edge because we're about to run a bevel operation. And actually, before we do this, I'm just going to dissolve that inner edge there. I just realized I didn't want that. So we select this edge. I'm just going to go to my front view. I'm going to go Control B again, and I'm just going to scroll down on my scroll wheel until we don't have any segments, and then scroll up 1 to add a singular segment, and bring this out. And my reference is I'm just trying to get this design, or this little inset detail, to roughly sit halfway between all of these edges here. So I'm just eyeballing that. I don't have an exact point of reference, but I can always sort of check. If I do Control R, I can see that if I were to cut a loop, it kind of roughly lines up with it. It doesn't do it exactly, but it's more or less correct, so I'm fine with that. And then, so we need to start to connect these edges down into, flow into this bottom edge here, but sort of tighten them up a little bit. So we can go Control R to add in a loop along the bottom here, and just slide this up to add a bit of a tighter support loop. And a good point of reference is however you insetted this face, so whatever this edge length is, just try to roughly match that on the other side, just so it's even, more or less. And then we can just use our knife tool, so we can go K and cut down an edge between here, and then we can dissolve that interior edge because we no longer need that. And then if we just go ahead, let's subdivide this edge in the middle here. So just subdivide that, go K, we'll cut down to that newly subdivided vertex, and so then we can dissolve that interior edge there. And what we need to do is we need to control this flow of topology so that this runs down and through into this loop here. At the moment, if it were to continue this, we just sort of push the flow of topology this way, and then we're not really supporting the bevel flowing in and then sort of getting creased down the bottom here. So what we need to do is if we just go select this edge here, Control X to dissolve it, and then we can just use our knife tool and cut between these points. And then we can actually keep this edge here. We can just double tap G, just slide this back. And so this looked really funky, I know, but the flow of topology now, if we have a look at it, so if I do Alt Select, notice how this is one continuous edge loop, which flows down from the top all the way to the bottom. And then if I select this one, it's the same thing. So we're setting that flow of topology from like a really large bevel and then condensing it down as we get to the bottom here. And we can start to see the effects of that. So if we just go Shade Smooth and chuck on a subdivision surface modifier, bring this up to 4, you can see how this is looking. So notice here we're getting this nice large bevel here, and then we sort of tighten everything up. We start to pinch everything in, and we get a much nice harder sort of edge down the bottom here. And so we're actually on the home stretch here. We're almost done. There's just a few more steps that we need to do. So let's start to harden up, this edge here. I'm going to go Control R and just bring in a loop. I'm going to go there. I should probably turn on my subdiv so I can actually see what I'm doing. So I crease it up around there. And then this gets a little bit tricky, right? Because we actually have a bevel that runs on the inside here, right? So if we look at our reference, you can see that we've got this bevel here, which actually also then does run down along the sides here. So a logical thing would be, okay, well, we've got a bevel there, so let's go Control B and we can add in a bevel. And yes, technically you can do this, but then you need to resolve all of that topology back into the side of the object here, which is curved, and that becomes a just absolute headache to do. So what I'm going to show you, and I dare say a handful of you won't like this, but I'll show you why it all works. We're actually going to dissolve these two edges here, and yes, we are going to introduce a ngon here. But the beauty of this ngon is that it actually correctly redirects the flow of our topology up and around the edge here. So if we just put our subdiv back on, enable the on cage, I'm just going to turn the optimal display off and bring this down to 1. Notice how on the inside edge here, so obviously we're getting this nice flow, but we're also getting flow doing this here, and we've got this pole right here. And it'll become more apparent when we start to add in some more topology, how this works. At the moment it's sort of skewed a little bit, but I promise this works really, really nicely. And I am aware of the fact that if we look at this at the moment, actually it'll become a little bit more apparent in just a second. So let's just grab this edge. So I've grabbed everything but this bottom edge here. It's going to double tap G. I'm just going to slide this into the left to just crease up this edge. And so you'll notice as we've done that, we have introduced this sort of pinching artifact here, or this creased sort of edge, which we don't want, but we will come back and address that in just a bit. We will make all that work, I promise you. And I'll show you with a really nice and harsh matte cap at the end to show you that I'm not crazy with that ngon placement. So what we need to do is we need a little bit more topology in here. So I'm just going to select all of these edges because we can't cut in a loop because of that ngon that we've placed. But we can select all these and then we can subdivide and do that twice. And now we've actually cut loops through an area that we otherwise couldn't. And this is really handy because now what we can do is if we just select between these points, so I'm just going to select 3 groups of 3 edges here. And I'm just going to run a relax operation. And so now you can see we're starting to add in more of that sort of rounded bevel design in here. And if we chuck in our subdiv, you can see how we're getting that nice rounded profile going on the inside there. And there's one thing I don't like on the actual design, and it's hard to tell from our reference images, but this bevel on the side here, it doesn't jut out so much. It more sort of naturally just tapers on and into the inside of the handle. So an easy way to fix this is if we just select this vertex and then select this outermost vertex here, and just go to our snapping tools, set the snap base to active and the snap target to vertex. We can then go G, Y, hold down Control, and that will just snap the outermost vertex, the active one, the last selection, to this vertex up the top here. And then if we go ahead, have a look at this, have a look at the side profile, you'll notice now we're sort of like getting a much steeper fall off, and that bevel isn't jutting out so far to the side anymore. So if I just bring that back one, this is how it looked before, and this is how it looks now. So we've sort of just tacked that away. It's not a massive difference in all honesty, but I just noticed because I've got the actual thing sitting in front of me, I just noticed that's more in line with the way the design looks. And just to fix some of this fall off here, because I think it looks just a little bit janky, I'm just going to run one relax operation between there. Actually, before doing that, I might even just sort of manually pull this in along the y-axis and then just do a relax. I think that just makes that edge look a little bit nicer. Cool, and then for the final hurdle, we just need to get this insetted detail here. So if we just go Control R, we can cut in this loop, and then we just need to have it flow in through the middle here. So I'm just going to use K for my knife tool, and I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm just going to go somewhere around here. So I've just clicked, press C to do a straight cut, and then Z, and I'm just going to bring that all the way through to the far right of the mesh. And just double check that it has cut through this edge here, because I have had a few instances in trying this where it hasn't. If for whatever reason you've done it and it's just cut like this, it's not the end of the world. You can always just go ahead and just eyeball a knife tool cut line in. Just something like that. So mine's going to be imperfect, but that's okay. And then just to introduce a little bit more curvature to the side here, I'm just going to select these two edges and just do a relax operation. So now we've got something that's got a little bit more curvature to it. And then for the final part, what we can do is just using control to select the shortest path, we can just select these edges here, which are representing that inset detail. I'm going to go Control B to do a bevel. I'm just going to scroll down, so I don't want any segments on this. And we'll get something around here. And the only thing I want you to change in the bevels operation here, I just want you to disable loop slide. I don't know why, but when we disable it here, it actually gives us a more even profile. So if you notice when we've got loop slide, it sort of narrows the bevel at this corner point here, but when we turn it off, we get something that's a lot more even. Don't know why exactly, but I just know it does from experimenting. And then if we press Alt and E, we can extrude along the face normals. I'm just going to hold down Shift and just go down on my mouse a little bit, just like this. So I'm just going to go around there. It doesn't need to be too intense. And then I just want a little bit of a fall off between these edges here. At the moment, it's like a full 90-degree fall off, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to go Control R and just scroll up on my scroll wheel 4 times to add in 4 loops here. I'm just going to Alt select the middle 2 and just Control X to dissolve those. And then I'm going to select the outermost edges from the actual extrusion that we did and just dissolve those with Control X. And so now you'll notice we've sort of just shifted everything in a little bit and we've got a nicer fall off on both of these faces. And then to wrap this up, let's just go ahead. I'm just going to select all of these edges here, Shift E 0.55 to crease them up a little bit. And then if we look at this with the subdiv, I think this looks all right, but I think this is just a little bit too wide of a curve. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this. I'm just going to double tap G, just do an edge slide in on these. Grab these, double tap G, just do an edge slide in on these as well. Just going to slightly tighten up that curve a little bit. And looking here, we're sort of getting a little bit of pulling on the side here. So I suppose if you really wanted to, I haven't actually done this on any of my versions, but we could just go around, we could select all of these edges here. Oops. Select all those. We could subdivide everything, and then we could grab this edge and just merge this at center. And then if we have a look at this again, you'll notice we've now repositioned that pole, so we're not getting any of those artifacts on the side there. And then just to fix up the creasing error that we introduced at the back here, there's 2 things we can do. So first and foremost, I just want to go ahead and select this edge. So just, actually, I won't select the edge that's connected to the pole. So just double tap G, E, and just slide this down. So now we'll have nicer creasing along this edge here. And just to fix this creased edge that we don't want here, what we can do quite simply is just Alt select this edge and then Shift Alt select the bottom edge, run a relax operation. And I know this looks janky as all hell, but once again, if we just go have a look at the subdivided wires, we have a really nice pole position right here. You'll notice we're getting that bevel shape in and we're getting really nice topology flow all through here. So if I just showed you this mesh and never showed you the fact that there was an ngon, you'd be none the wiser because it's really nice quad-based topology there. And just to show you that this does work nicely, so let's just pick a really, really harsh and unforgiving matte cap. You'll notice we're not getting any noticeable distortions. It's all respecting the flow of our topology and we're getting really nice surface normals there. So there you have it. That's my solution to last week's modeling challenge. I know it looks a little bit tricky with all the varying bevel widths and the bevels that are intersecting with one another, and especially this outer part. That was the main part that I wanted to try to trip people up with. But you can see it's not too difficult in the end, and hopefully you've learned something from this, and I'll see you all in the next one.